So we will start by structuring our application a little bit. As you can see here, I am inside my empty project, and you can get this empty project by going to the file and then selecting the new project from here. Then select this empty compose activity and click on next. Give a name to your application here and click on finish, and Android Studio will generate an empty project for you. Now let's structure our application, and I like to do so by dividing my app into front end and back end. The front end is the part that the user can touch and interact with, and the back end is the part that deals with data, the fetching of data, and the uploading of data. I'll create a package and I'll name it front end. Then I'll create another package and I'll name it backend. Now we had these files, they are pre-generated by Android Studio, and all these are UI related files, so I'll move them inside the front end package. Now let's check the build.gradle file, and here I have added two dependencies. One is for loading images from the internet, this coil image library, and the other is for navigation in Jetpack Compose. I'll provide them in the description, you can copy them from there. Create an empty file which I've already created inside the front end package. I've named it splash screen. I've also got two images here, so you can get these images by going to your browser and searching for Avengers font generator, and then go to this link fontmeme.com. Scroll down a bit, and here you can just enter whatever you want to get. For example, capital A, then choose a color, and it will generate a font for you. Similarly, do that for Avengers and get these images inside the drawable folder of your app. This is our finished application, and this is the application we are working on. So let's see the finished application, and here is our splash screen. Repeat once more how the A appears, and then the Avengers and fan club appears. Now our splash screen is animation extensive, and therefore we will use animation throughout the creation of this splash screen. Don't worry, I'll make it easier for you. And if you don't know what is going on, then this video is a part of series. We are creating an entire application, and to understand the scenario, you must watch all the videos in the series in chronological order. Now let's start coding our application. We'll first create a composable function, splash screen. In here I will use box as a parent layout, and I will fill the entire screen. Here I will have all the elements like the images and the text, and import this R class as well. In the content description I will give null value. Now we have this A image inside a box. To represent state I will use enum classes. In fact, only one enum class we will use. Enum class, I'll call it animation state, and it will have an initial and a final state. Now I will hold the state inside some variable, offset A, and I will use the Kotlin delegate syntax by, then I will say remember, it will state of animation state dot initial, import remember, and import get value and set value as well. I'll create another variable which will hold the animation state values, and it will be animate as state API. And we are using animate as state API because they are low level API and they are very unlikely to change. They are very fundamental, and that is the reason I'm using them. Now the target value will be based on a condition. If my offset state of A is equal to the initial value, then I want to just animate it to a certain offset, or else I want to just animate it to some other offset. Now how do you get these offset values? Well, to be honest, I got them by trial and error. For me, these values are 300F and 225F. Similarly, when the offset A is not initial state, it's in the final state, then we need 30, 225F, 30F, 225F. And the thing here to notice is that only the x-axis is changing and not the y-axis. And the reason for that is, let me tell you, this is the x-axis, the horizontal one, and the vertical one is the y-axis. So we want a change only in the x-axis. You must have seen how that A appears somewhere here and then moves along the x-axis only. So no need to change the y-axis. Another thing to notice here is that the value of x-axis when its initial state is very much high. And the reason for that is I want to start from somewhere outside the screen and then that A appears in. So that is the logic here. Now I will use these offset values in my image as modifier equals, and let me just arrange it properly so that you can see it. Now I'll give the x value as nm offset a dot value dot x, then the y will be nm offset dot value dot y. And now one thing to notice here is that these are float values, but here we require display pixel values or dp values. So just append .dp and this will fix the issue. Import dp. Everything is now set and in place, but one thing we are missing. We are not changing this animation state value. It's initial only, you can see in this variable. And to change this value automatically when this composable is called is by using a launched effect. I'll give the value as true, and in the block I'll just change this offset a value to animation state.final. Now we will call this, and now we will run the application. The build is now finished, and you can see that A appears suddenly from left to right. It's great that now it's animating, and now we will animate the other elements as well. But first I will add some timing because I don't want A to be that quick. I'll say tween. Tween is used for timing purposes in animation, and it will be around 700 milliseconds, less than a second. And now it will take 700 milliseconds for appearing on the screen. After that I will add another image, and it will be the rest of the letters that appear in Avenger. And now you must have seen that when that A slides from right side to the left side, then Avengers appear. So we need to animate the alpha value. I say modifier.alpha, and I will call it nm alpha. It's not created yet, but we will now create it. The procedure is same. We need to have some state inside a variable. So the same state, animation state dot initial. I'll change the name and I will call it alpha. And then we need animation state values as well. So I will just duplicate this one and I will call it anim alpha. And anim alpha will be animate float as state. So now it will be float, and I will change the condition because we are using alpha, so I will just replace it with alpha, and then we need to change the final values as well. So instead of using an offset, I'll say when it's at initial state, the alpha value should be 0 f, else it should be complete 1 f. Let me just show you so that you don't lose the track. When we run our application, the A appears and then Avengers appears suddenly. So that sudden appearance is nothing but the image is already there, and only the alpha values changing, making it visible after some time. And that time is the amount of time taken by that A letter to move from right to left. So I will add a delay here of 700 milliseconds exactly, and after that I will change this animation alpha. I will change this alpha value, the variable that holds the state. The animation is now all set, but there is one more problem here. I have not set the offset for this image, and it can appear anywhere on the screen, but I want it to appear just after the letter A. For that I will just use the final offset values plus or minus some other values. I'll say offset We know that it ends at 30F and 225F. That means it ends somewhere here, and then just after that we have Avengers, and to place it properly we can just use the offset of A and it will be fine. So the final offset of A is 30F and 225F. 30F comma 225F, and as said earlier, as done earlier, we need to convert these values to display pixels or DP values. Let us just see how it looks like. One thing that we should not forget is that it will still overlap, and the reason is that the x-axis has the same starting point, so some of this images part will overlap on this A of the Avenger. We will fix that by adding some value in this x-axis. Now it's launching and you see the A and Avengers. The timing is perfect, but we need to just arrange this a bit. So we need to just move it towards the right side. The x-axis will increase, plus we need to increase the y-axis as well. Now I will increase the x-axis first. I'll add some random values. I think first I should add 20 dp, and here I will add 50 dp. I'll rerun the application to see how it looks, and a lot better than before. We still need to add some x-axis to move it towards right, and I will make it, let's say, 60 display pixels, and I will rerun the application again. A lot better than before. I think we just need to reduce some y-axis and add some more x-axis. So I will make it 75 and I will reduce it to 42, and by the time the build finishes, let's add two boxes. The box is that rectangle, that blue color rectangle you saw there. I'll give it a width, let's say 150 display pixels, and a height, let's say 20 display pixels. I'll also give it a background color, blue color, let's say, as we have in our example. I'll duplicate the same box, and it is a lot better than before. I just need to align the base with this, you see here, the shorter end of this A. So that means reducing some value of the y-axis and adding a little bit of the x-axis. This time we will see two boxes as well. By the time it's building, let's make some state values for box as well. Those two lines that appear at the same time and go to the other end simultaneously. And I think we should have the same state holder and but different animation state value variables. Let me just show you what I mean to say. I will call it progress lines by animation state dot initiate, and we need only one variable to hold the state because both the lines start at the same time. So I want that whenever I change this state, both the lines start animating simultaneously. And now I will make an animation state. I will call it anim progress lines, and they will be offset because we want to animate the offset. Now we will define an offset for this value for animating it. So when it's initial, I should call it animation progress line top, because there were two lines, one was at the top and the other was at the bottom. So the top line will start from left and go towards right, and to start from left, the offset that I've chosen is around negative 150 f and around 225 f for y-axis. For the final values, I have chosen 300 f and 225 f. And you can see here again the y-axis is not changing. There is the change is only in the x-axis. Similarly, we will make state value for the other animation progress line, and here for offset value I've chosen 400f so that it starts from the extreme right, and for this thing I've chosen 225f, and when the state is animation state.final, the x will be around negative 80f and y will be around 225f. Notice no change in y-axis again. Now we have the state values ready for the line. This one I'll call dot offset, and the x value will be equal to, let's say this is the top line and this is the bottom line. For the top line, I have chosen this one. Don't forget to append .dp, as it will convert float values to display pixel values. Similarly, I will do this for this bottom line, and here I will change this to animation progress line bottom. Now I will just run the application and see how it looks like. And after this thing, we are only left with that bottom text, the fan club text. I'll quickly comment out everything so that it's easier for you. Show you just the build is now finished. Okay, now we see Avengers here. It animated. Let me show you just once more. It animated and the y-axis is not yet correct. It's not aligned properly. That we will do it, we will correct it, but these lines did not animate, and the reason is that because we did not change the state inside the launched effect. You can also see that these lines are too thick. We will just decrease the width and we will change the state so that these lines animate. The anim alpha takes around 700 milliseconds. I think that's too much time. It should take only 300 milliseconds. Therefore, since it takes 300 milliseconds, we will add a delay of 300 milliseconds here as well, so that this animation is finished. And after a delay of 300 milliseconds, the line starts animating. I think I named it progress lines. Yeah, progress lines equal animation state dot final. And now let's reduce the height of the boxes as well. I'll make it 10 display pixels. Let's just run our application. In the meantime, I will create a text and I will name it fan club. The fan club that you see at the bottom. Let's have some properties like font weight. Okay guys, make offset the first modifier in the box and then you get some result like this. Let me show you. Both lines cross each other at the same place, and the reason for that is the y-axis is the same. You can see here the y-axis for the end value is same in both these animation state variables. So what I can do is we can just add the height of this A character and this will appear at the bottom. So I think this A must be around 50 display pixels. What I'll do is I will make this 260f. Let's say this one as well, 260f as well. And I think now the line will appear at bottom. And we have one more problem. This is not aligned properly, so we will just reduce the Avengers by 4 or 5 display pixels in the y-axis. So we have it here. The Avengers is here, and I will make it 30. And now I will run the application. This fan club is appearing at the top. Our next job will be to animate this fan clubs appear here. Okay, I think we want to move it in the y-axis, but we are getting closer towards our goal. It would be somewhere around 350f, and now it's aligned with the bottom line of A, with the shorter leg of A. And I think we should add some duration as well in these lines while they are being animated. So to add duration, both of them, I will use tween because it's used to add some delay in animation. I think 1 second will be fine. I'll just run the app. Okay, now it looks perfect. Now let's animate this fan club. It should appear somewhere here. So the step is same. I'll hold the stage there and I will call it text alpha, and it will be similar to this. Let's say anim text alpha. This time let's take only 200 milliseconds, and I'll add a delay here of 1 millisecond because the lines take 1 millisecond to cross and reach the end. And after that I will change the state, animation state.final. In the modifier I'll call the alpha property anim text alpha dot value, and I will rerun it. And one thing more, we need to add the offset here as well so that it is at the right place. And the offset would be just below the bottom progress line. The bottom progress line is here. The y-axis is around 350f, so I'll say 200f.dp, 350f.dp. These are just estimated values. We will just correct them if they are not, if they don't look nice. Let's have a look how it looks. And the problem I found here is that this fan club appears even before this line passes, and that cannot happen according to the logic. And the issue is here. We don't want to equate it to alpha. We want it to be text alpha. Because of that alpha value we used, it was animating beforehand, and that's why this fan club appeared even before this line passed. So that's one problem solved. Other problem is that I should increase the font size a bit, and then the screen will be completed. So let's just increase the font size. And I don't know the exact font size, so some random value, I think 30 sp. I'll run it. I think we should reduce these lines as well. The width of this line, I mean the height of these lines. They are too thick. I made them 5 display pixels. Just decrease the font size to 20 sp. I launch the application, and it looks cool. Well, this is the final state of a splash screen. It looks nice, and we are done with it. You can see it once more. Well, that was fun for me teaching you how to create this. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want more of such content, and comment down below if you have any queries or any suggestions. Thank you, take care, and we will meet in the next video.